Imagine a lone warrior, battered by tempests and tormented by gods, sailing through uncharted seas toward a home he hasn't seen in 2 decades. This is the eternal saga of Odysseus, now reimagined by visionary director Christopher Nolan in his 2026 epic, The Odyssey. But what if this ancient tale isn't just myth? What if it echoes real echoes from a lost Bronze Age world? Join us as we voyage through legend, history, and cinema to uncover why this story still captivates us today. In the shadowed halls of ancient lore, where gods whisper and heroes defy fate, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey emerges as a cinematic odyssey of its own. Set for release on 17 July 2026, this mythic action epic stars Matt Damon as the cunning King Odysseus, leading a stellar ensemble including Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, John Bernthal, and Mia Goth. Filmed across the globe with groundbreaking IMAX technology, the film promises to immerse audiences in a tale of peril and perseverance, without spoiling the intricate plot twists that Nolan is known for. At its core, the premise follows Odysseus's grueling journey home after the Trojan War, confronting mythical beasts, seductive enchantresses, and the wrath of divine forces, all while his loyal family awaits in Ithaca. Themes of human resilience, the cost of ambition, and the pull of destiny weave through the narrative, much like Nolan's previous explorations of time, memory, and morality in films like Inception and Oppenheimer. Research suggests that Nolan was drawn to this story for its timeless depth. Odysseus as a multifaceted hero, not just a warrior, but a thinker navigating chaos, reflecting Nolan's interest in complex human psyches amid epic scales. Evidence leans toward his childhood fascination with classical epics, coupled with a desire to fill a void in modern Hollywood for grand mythological tales, especially after he was once attached to direct Troy, but lost the project. While details remain shrouded in mystery until release, early trailers hint at Nolan's signature non-linear storytelling and practical effects, blending spectacle with philosophical undertones. It's likely that the film will resonate deeply in our era of uncertainty, mirroring contemporary struggles with isolation, loyalty, and survival. Yet, as with any adaptation, it invites debate on fidelity to Homer's text versus innovative interpretation, reminding us that stories evolve with each retelling. In the vast expanse of the Mediterranean, where azure waves crash against jagged cliffs and the wind carries whispers of forgotten empires, a hero embarks on a journey that defies the boundaries of time itself. This is the world of the Odyssey, Homer's epic poem that has endured for nearly 3 millennia, now poised to captivate a new generation through Christopher Nolan's ambitious 2026 film adaptation. As we delve into this documentary, prepare to navigate the treacherous waters separating myth from historical reality, explore the Bronze Age cradle of Greek civilization, and uncover why this ancient narrative still pulses with relevance in our modern lives. We'll examine Nolan's unique cinematic lens and ponder the reasons behind his choice to tackle this monumental tale. Let us set sail, guided by the stars of legend and the compass of scholarship. Our voyage begins with the premise of Nolan's The Odyssey, a film that promises to blend mythic grandeur with intellectual depth. Without recounting every twist of the plot, the story centers on Odysseus, the resourceful king of Ithaca, whose decade-long return from the Trojan War becomes a labyrinth of trials orchestrated by gods and monsters alike. He encounters beings that test his wit and will, Cyclops with singular vision, sirens whose songs lure sailors to doom, and sorceresses who transform men into beasts. Back home, His steadfast wife Penelope fends off suitors, while their son Telemachus grapples with his father's absence. The themes Nolan appears to emphasize include the fragility of human endeavor against cosmic forces, the interplay of fate and free will, and the enduring bonds of family and homeland. Early announcements describe it as a mythic action epic, shot in IMAX form at across global locations, harnessing brand, new technology to bring Homer's vivid imagery to life on an unprecedented scale. The cast, led by Matt Damon as Odysseus, brings layers to these archetypal characters. Zendaya's poise might infuse a role like the clever Athena or the resilient Penelope, while Tom Holland's agility could suit the youthful Telemachus, and Robert Pattinson's intensity might capture the tormenting aspects of the journey. This ensemble, including Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o, John Bernthal, and Mia Goth, suggests Nolan's intent to humanize the divine and monstrous, grounding the epic in emotional authenticity. Yet, to truly appreciate Nolan's vision, we must distinguish the shimmering veil of myth from the gritty sands of historical reality. Homer's Odyssey, composed around the 8th century BC, is a tapestry of oral traditions passed down from generations earlier. The Trojan War, the cataclysmic event that launches Odysseus's Odyssey, is enshrined in legend as a decade-long siege sparked by the abduction of Helen, wife of Spartan King Menelaus, by Trojan Prince Paris. Gods intervene capriciously. Athena aids the Greeks. Poseidon punishes Odysseus for blinding his Cyclops son Polyphemus. But historians approach this with cautious scrutiny. Archaeological evidence, unearthed by Heinrich Schliemann in the 1870 at Hisarlik in modern-day Turkey, reveals a real city of Troy with multiple layers of destruction, one possibly dating to around 1180 BCE, aligning with the late Bronze Age collapse. This era saw widespread upheaval, invasions by the mysterious sea peoples, droughts and economic disruptions that toppled empires from Mycenae to Hattusa. Scholars like Eric Klein in his book 1177 B.C., The Year Civilization Collapsed, argue that the Trojan War may echo a series of conflicts over trade routes through the Dardanelles, rather than a singular romantic feud. Hittite tablets mention a place called Wilus, possibly Ilios, Homer's name for Troy, and Ahiawa, akin to Achaea, the Greeks. While no direct proof of Helen or Achilles exists, artifacts like Mycenaean linear B tablets show a warrior society with chariots and palaces, mirroring Homer's descriptions. Thus, the Odyssey blends poetic invention with kernels of truth. Odysseus's raids and wanderings might reflect real Bronze Age seafaring exploits, perhaps even drawing from Egyptian accounts of marauding warriors. Historians believe the gods represent anthropomorphic explanations for natural disasters and human follies, not literal deities, separating the epic's fantastical elements from a plausible historical framework of migration, warfare, and cultural exchange. Transitioning from legend to landscape, let's immerse ourselves in the ancient Greek Bronze Age world that forms the backdrop of this story. Spanning roughly 3000 to 1100 BC, this period, often called Mycenaean after the dominant culture, was a time of palatial splendor and maritime prowess. Imagine fortified citadels like Mycenae, with its lion gate carved from massive Cyclopean stones, blocks so enormous that later Greeks attributed them to mythical giants. Kings ruled from throne rooms adorned with frescoes depicting hunts and processions, their wealth amassed through trade in olive oil, wine, and bronze weapons across the Aegean. Society was hierarchical, Wanax kings oversaw scribes using linear B script to record inventories of sheep, chariots, and slaves. Warriors, clad in boar's tusk helmets and wielding figure-8 shields, fought in chariots, as evidenced by grave goods from shaft tombs filled with gold masks and amber beads from distant Baltic trade. The sea was both lifeline and peril. Minoan Crete, with its labyrinthine palaces like Knossos, influenced Mycenaean art, suggesting cultural fusion before the Mycenaeans supplanted them around 1450 BC. Religious practices centered on earth-shaking Poseidon and wise Athena, with rituals in open-air sanctuaries rather than grand temples. The Odyssey's world evokes this era's end. The Dark Ages followed the Bronze Age collapse when palaces burned, writing vanished, and populations dwindled. Odysseus's Ithaca, a rugged island kingdom, symbolizes the isolated yet interconnected polities of the time, reliant on xenia, guest, friendship, for survival amid piracy and storms. Artifacts from shipwrecks like Ulubur, off Turkey reveal cargoes of copper ingots, ivory, and glass, painting a picture of a vibrant, volatile Mediterranean network that Homer romanticized centuries later. As the waves of history recede, we confront why the Odyssey endures, its themes resonating like echoes in a vast cavern. In today's world of global conflicts and personal trials, the epic speaks profoundly to war trauma. Odysseus, a veteran of Troy's horrors, embodies what modern psychology might diagnose as post-traumatic stress. His cunning masks inner turmoil. His weepy breakdowns on foreign shores reveal the scars of lost comrades and moral ambiguities of battle. Scholars like Jonathan Shea in Achilles in Vietnam draw parallels between Homeric heroes and combat veterans, noting how Odysseus's hypervigilance and emotional numbness mirror survivors' struggles to reintegrate. Temptation weaves through the narrative as a universal human frailty, the lotus, eaters offering forgetful bliss, Circe's enchantments promising pleasure at the cost of humanity, the siren's allure symbolizing distractions that derail purpose. These trials test survival instincts, where Odysseus's polytropos, many, turning, wit becomes a metaphor for adaptability in crises, from pandemics to personal setbacks. Loyalty shines as the anchor. Penelope's unwavering fidelity, weaving and unweaving her shroud to stall suitors, exemplifies devotion amid uncertainty, while Telemachus's quest for his father highlights filial bonds. In an age of fractured families and digital isolation, the Odyssey reminds us that homecoming, Nostos, is not just physical but emotional, a reclamation of identity. Its influence permeates culture, from James Joyce's Ulysses to modern films like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It inspires reflections on resilience. Research suggests these themes foster empathy, helping readers navigate ethical dilemmas and appreciate the complexity of human motives. Now, steering toward the horizon of cinema, we analyze Christopher Nolan's interpretation and the motivations behind his choice to helm the Odyssey. Known for cerebral blockbusters that bend reality, think the dream layers of Inception or the temporal inversions of Tenet. Nolan seems drawn to Homer's non-linear structure, where flashbacks and divine interventions create interwoven timelines. Announcements indicate he'll employ practical effects and IMAX cameras to capture epic sea battles and mythical encounters, eschewing CGI excess for tangible immersion. Why this story? Interviews reveal a long-standing passion. Nolan was once hired to direct Troy in the early 2000s, but the project shifted, leaving him with unfinished business in the classical realm. He views Odysseus as a proto-modern hero, intellectual, flawed, driven by inner conflict, aligning with his portrayals of tormented protagonists like J. Robert Oppenheimer. Empire magazine quotes him expressing a desire to create a large-scale mythological epic absent from contemporary Hollywood, fulfilling a childhood dream inspired by the poem's scope. The lack of such films since the 2000s, combined with advances in IMAX technology, provided the perfect canvas. Nolan's adaptation likely emphasizes philosophical undertones, the relativity of time in Odysseus's prolonged absence, the illusion of control amid godly whims, echoing his thematic obsessions. By assembling a diverse, acclaimed cast, he aims to universalize the tale, making ancient struggles feel immediate. This choice reflects broader cinematic trends toward revisiting classics with fresh perspectives, ensuring the Odyssey speaks to diverse audiences without graphic excess or bias. As our journey nears its end, reflect on how this ancient epic, reborn through Nolan's lens, bridges millennia. In a world grappling with division and discovery, the Odyssey invites us to question our own voyages. What monsters do we face? What loyalties sustain us? What homes do we seek? Whether myth or memory, its essence endures, urging us to navigate life's tempests with cunning and heart. As the credits roll on Nolan's vision, may it inspire you to ponder. In the grand tapestry of existence, are we not all wanderers, striving toward our Ithaca? This table highlights the star power Nolan brings to reimagine Homer's characters, drawing from diverse talents to enrich the epic's emotional depth. Delving deeper into the Bronze Age context, consider the economic underpinnings. Mycenaean palaces functioned as redistribution centers, collecting tributes in grain and metals, as linear B tablets attest. Warfare was ritualized yet brutal, with evidence of mass graves and fortified walls suggesting constant threats. The Odyssey's depiction of feasting and gift, giving mirrors archaeological finds of ornate craters and jewelry, underscoring Xenia's role in diplomacy. Historians like Barry Strauss in the Trojan War, a new history posit that the war, if real, involved not just Greeks and Trojans but alliances with Hittites and Luwians, complicating the binary myth. For the Odyssey specifically, Odysseus's encounters may draw from Phoenician trade routes and Egyptian tales of shipwrecked sailors, blending cultures in a post-apse oral tradition. On modern relevance, expand to psychological interpretations. Carl Jung saw Odysseus as an archetype of the self's journey toward integration, facing shadows like the Cyclops' brute force and Sirens' unconscious desires. In therapy, narratives like this aid trauma processing, as studies in the Journal of Traumatic Stress show myth-based interventions reducing PTSD symptoms. Loyalty's theme extends to societal levels. Penelope's resistance parallels modern stories of resilience in adversity, from wartime spouses to activists. Survival motifs inspire survival literature, like John Krakauer's Into the Wild, echoing Odysseus's resourcefulness. Nolan's film, per trailers, features Ludwig Göransson's score, building tension with orchestral swells that evoke the sea's unpredictability. His choice stems from a gap in epic filmmaking. As he told Gizmodo, it's about scaling Hollywood's ambitions to match ancient sagas. This adaptation avoids graphic violence, focusing on psychological horror and wonder, ensuring ad-friendliness. In sum, the Odyssey 2026 stands as a testament to storytelling's power, merging past and present in a cinematic symphony.